Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a football Monday, the day after Christmas. I know there's a lot of people out there with the day off today, so hopefully you're sitting back, relaxing, counting your stacks from all the money you made on the Mojo Market over the weekend, Week 16. Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, A5, Anthony behind the glass here at Chop Studios, bright and early for you. There's a lot of stuff. This weekend unpacked a lot. Kind of gave the playoff picture another little bit of a shuffle. It gave a lot of people, I mean, look, I guess there's people out there spending their Christmas bonuses on Mojo at this point, because I saw some heavy hitters out there dropping bombs of money.
Richie James, there was like a $50,000 play on Richie James with a multiplier, and dude, he went up like 11% without the multiplier, so congrats to whoever was that investor.
Basically paid your mortgage off in one weekend. Congratulations. Meanwhile, I'm like sitting there like, well, should I take a little of this Tula money and sprinkle it back on somebody else? And I don't know what to do. Whoever you are out there dropping money bags, like that is just a heavy hit. Congratulations to you. A lot of things went down in Week 16. Obviously, the Bucs, they're just like an annoying team at this point.
Enough is enough. Look, Tom Brady's garbage. I'm sorry. I said it. He looks bad on 3 yard out.
Easy, because he's about to go on another 8-game winning streak and win the Super Bowl or something like that, because of the fact that we're talking badly about
this is a bad team. Todd Bowles is a bad head coach. That offense looks very stagnant. I can't say enough bad things about the Tampa Bay offense right now.
And like you would think, but see, me being the Cowboy fan that I am, I'm like, all signs point to Dallas and Tampa round one. And I'm like, great, we're going to get playoff Tom Brady. That's what we're going to get.
Well, you're also going to get third string left tackle Tom Brady.
Yeah, they did drop a couple more guys.
Slower version of Mike Evans, Tom Brady. There's a lot of things wrong with Tampa Bay's offense right now, and it starts off with Todd Bowles, I think.
And their offense, I mean, Byron's got to catch some flack too. Byron Leftwich, I know there's a lot of moving parts over there, but got to get it done. I mean, whatever. There's always, you want to make bets here on Mojo. You can always bet that there's a cutaway to Tom Brady on the sidelines, just looking at the surface, and he's like, "Come on," like trying to do something with this. I know Anthony didn't have himself a decent Christmas Eve. The Giants fall, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. They fell. The Washington Commanders fell. The Lions fell.
Well,
there is something that happened.
Something did happen. I wouldn't say nothing happened, but the Packers
in regards to the seedings right now,
back in the mix.
Unbelievable.
Look, if the Giants lose 2 and the Packers win 2, they pass the Giants. We don't need the Commanders to lose 1.
You do need the Commanders to lose 1 if not
the Packers
for the Giants.
win out, Commanders lose a game. Whoa, guess what?
They're playing. Listen,
Aaron Rodgers in the postseason.
Aaron Rodgers is playing at a good level. He's healthier now than he was in the beginning of the year. Like, Watson and Dubs. I
remember
and Lazard.
They're all doing way back in the day. There was a time when Aaron Rodgers was selfish. He should sit out.
I think it was like week 10. So we were talking about Jordan Love.
I remember in my day when Jordan Love needed to get the starts, but no, seriously, this is not how this business works.
Unbelievable.
Even if the Packers lose this week and the season's over, then there's going to be even people coming out and saying, "Oh, week 18, you need to start Jordan Love," and it's like we got Aaron Rodgers that's sitting there. It's like, bro, I'm healthy. I played 17 games. Do you think I'm going to potentially give up my starting job forever right now? No, it's not going to happen.
Well, the Packers are in it all of a sudden, so a lot of movement there. Speaking of movement, the top movers starts from week number 16. There was a lot of them, and yesterday I went into the game thinking, you know what, Christmas Day, how could they mess this up? Oh, here's how they messed this up. You put the Broncos and the Rams on Christmas afternoon. Now, look, what I would say is this. On paper, when the season started, you're looking at this like, not bad. It's Russ. It's supposedly Matt Stafford. It's the Rams defending champs against Russ.
This so both teams went Super Bowl preview.
Yeah, these teams went complete opposite direction.
Said. No,
it was. When this book, Broncos country, come on, let's throw a pick, because man, oh man, I can't listen. We're not about to drag Russ anymore on this show, because he's been dragged for 16 weeks now. He plays piss poor, but what I will say is Cam Akers, has he found himself reborn again? Like there was that time, there was that lieu of time that all of a sudden he was gone.
All it took was for me to short him, for him to no, basically what happened was I cut Cam Akers from my dynasty roster, which he's been holding up a spot for 2+ seasons.
Same.
And I finally released him, and guess what happened?
yesterday goes for 23 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns on Christmas.
Shout out to the fantasy owners that used the week 16 numbers that he put up and kind of let you know that Cam Akers may be back here. And I wouldn't have started him yesterday.
Corresponding move would mean also that Williams, the backup? Kyron, he went down a little bit. So obviously, rightfully so. In the same game, we could talk about in the same breath, Tyler Higbee, man. Jesus. Like, again, this is something huge for Baker Mayfield, a new quarterback in a new system trying to learn the playbook. Tyler Higbee shows up, 9 catches, 94 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield winds up with the Slime Award. Like, the Rams just steamrolled the Broncos, and everybody on the Rams offense, starting-wise, is up. Baker Mayfield, your boy. Baker Mayfield. Just winning Slime Time Awards and now cashing Mojo bets here on a Monday morning.
Give me a break. You think Baker's going to start based off of his
next year?
Yeah, you think Baker gets a
depends on what happens with Stafford,
Baker
man.
A look?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not going to sign. He's not. No. You think he's going to be a Ram?
I think that if he's a Ram if McVay sticks around. There's rumors swirling that McVay want to go into the broadcasting booth for a year because he doesn't like the situation they're in with the draft picks and all this stuff, that he might step away. But if he doesn't and he likes Baker Mayfield, why not have Baker Mayfield on your starting roster next year if Stafford's not there?
I'll give Baker Mayfield the Kids' Choice Award, but I'm definitely not giving him a starting quarterback job in the NFL. Kids' Choice maybe, Slime Award, yes.
But here's the thing. You've been banging on this desk for the Denver Broncos elite defense.
Wait, banging on the desk.
You have been banging on the desk?
When we're talking about it's the Broncos against the Rams, and I'm saying, like, okay, which of the units here has proven to me? And I look on paper, and I'm like, well, Denver's ranked number 2 in the league defensively going into yesterday. That's not an anomaly. This week 17, all right? So that is an elite defense.
So the anomaly is Baker.
The anomaly here is Baker, all right? That's what I'm saying here. The anomaly is Baker. And look, the Broncos, their coaching staff is, I
heard yesterday
they
from
coached themselves
sources
out of the league. That's what they did.
Yeah, from sources.
It's over. It's
who
over.
I listened to? Ryan Leaf was on the broadcast. So
Ryan Leaf is a national treasure.
I love Ryan Leaf.
Give the guy
former
credit.
Cowboy for about a cup of coffee. But I will say Ryan Leaf said he has a source within close to the situation that there's a 0% chance that Hackett's back.
Yeah, you could ask any human being on earth is the source. Hackett is done.
I am your source, Ryan Leaf. All right, let's talk about a game that went down on Christmas Eve and somebody who solidified himself as not only wide receiver 1 on a team, but wide receiver 1 on your options on your portfolio, because I think CeeDee Lamb has absolutely shown up this year. He already eclipsed 1,000 yards. He's about to eclipse 100 catches again. Look, CeeDee Lamb, since draft day, this is the chart we decided to use here because this is kind of big. He's up 113% since draft day. He was drafted. Amari Cooper was on the team. Amari Cooper gets shipped off for a bag of balls. All of a sudden, they're like, can he step up? And there was times where I'm like, no, he can't do it. Just doesn't seem like he has the build, right? Or just doesn't seem to have the moxie. Guy's adjusting his chain before running around. Like, this dude is so smooth right now, and you got to give up for Dak Prescott. I know, I was telling Ant, I was like, hey, by the way, we're going to record Mojo on Monday. You in? He's like, only if you admit that Dak Prescott's not a top 10 quarterback. I was like, you're on drugs, right? Because Dak Prescott is in fact, don't look at him, look at the camera. Dak Prescott is in fact a top 10 quarterback in the league, and you know what? This might crush me. Dak Prescott might be sniffing around the top 5. Sniffing around. Both of you are looking at me. That's fine. I don't care. Do whatever you want. As far as CeeDee Lamb is concerned, Chris, I'll ask you, logically, he goes for 10 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Can he be in the conversation in your portfolio when it comes to like let's just say, for the example, you get Mojo for the first time and you want to invest right away and you do the Mahomes thing and you do the Justin Jefferson thing. Do you do the CeeDee Lamb thing? Like, is that one of those?
I have done the CeeDee Lamb thing, so the short answer for me is yes. Now, I know that you were probably asking, maybe this isn't where you were going with this on the show, but in you were saying, would you put him with the Jeffersons and the Chases of the world? I would say that Jamar Chase is maybe playing himself closer to a CeeDee, and there's closing the gap a little bit there, but there is one guy that's the top dog in the NFL, and it's Jefferson. So to put him there, I would say no. But I will say, yes, firmly entrenched in the top 10. And when we're talking top 10 at receiver, that's a lot. That's saying a lot more than saying top 10 at quarterback, because there's a lot, right? When we're talking about the Devontaes of the world, like I'm not going to put CeeDee over those guys just yet. But in terms of career projections and things, like Devontae's on his way down, so it's a little bit less of a risk. in investing in Devontae, but at the same time, there's not as much money to be made because he already accumulated all of his bank value.
Yeah.
I think CeeDee is a clear-cut play. I mean, he's getting 15 looks a game.
Yeah.
In an offense that's playing for a lot right now. The running game is going. That's only helping CeeDee. You have this pipe dream that Dak might make the top 5 in quarterbacks. Dak is playing all world right now, so I can't sit here and talk shit about Dak. I'm just saying that I don't agree with the top 5. Top 10, we could have that conversation 100%. I think Dak plays himself in and out of the top 10, maybe more so than any quarterback in the league right now.
I think there's something to be said about the fact that, like, something about Dak Prescott is the fact of his recovery. Meaning, like, that pick 6 was brutal, right? Like, he just puts it in the breadbasket of sweat and he takes it back to the house. And you're like, you're up in arms as a Cowboy guy. You're like, come on with this guy, right? But then he decides to throw for 350, all the touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, this, he's got a good comeback.
You want to see him be able to put things aside and move forward. And I hate to say it, but that's the one quality that I'll say that I like about a Daniel Jones. I don't think he plays well with the ball in his hand a lot of times. I think he makes a lot of mistakes. He doesn't get the ball down the field that great. But when it comes time to forget about all the BS and hunker down on one drive, he does it, and Dak's been able to do the same of late. So you got to tip your hat.
All of a sudden,
top 5, Dave, come on,
bro. We could have another conversation for another day. But what I will say is this, Sporty Jordy, hope you enjoyed the game. Merry Christmas to you. All right, anyway, moving on. Jalen Waddle did a little shaky all over the Packers, or did he? Look, the Dolphins played amazing, right? They have some offense. They just keep clicking. Waddle goes for a $143 to touchdown. 85 comes on one drive. But then at the end of the day, the post-game interview is Jair just saying, like, and Jair doing the Waddle. Did you see that, by the way?
Okay, I see it.
Like, that's interesting. But I will say this. Waddle is the topic of conversation in that game. And I know the Packers have made themselves fully available for the playoff run if they get there. But my question to you is this. The Cheetah goes for 4 and a $103. A $103? Yeah, 103, whatever. A $103. And you're starting your portfolio, right now. Who are you investing in right now? Is it Jalen Waddle or is it Cheetah?
I've already been invested. Jalen Waddle was the first receiver that I got in on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's my guy. It was very, very pleasant for me to watch yesterday's game, in the second half at least. Look, Jalen Waddle went off in the first quarter. Definitely put me in my fantasy finals. And then I was like, all right, you did enough, buddy. Now settle down. He did not listen. He kept on going, but the Packers defense showed up. And really, I know you're saying, like, Miami played great yesterday in the first half. They played like absolute dog shit in the second half.
That's true.
And, tap your cap to Jair. I wish I could invest in my boy right there. Defensive player is coming soon in 2023.
One day.
From what I've heard. So I cannot wait for that aspect of things because it must be really fun to be able to invest in Micah. Think about it.
Oh, my God.
Come on,
Is
bro.
he going to be the top guy, you think? Or no?
No.
No?
Like Aaron Donald, maybe. Like there's some guys
with the bank
that have,
value,
like,
Super Bowls.
Yeah, like who's the Robert Quinns of the world? Like these guys have 16 sacks. Von Miller.
Yeah.
You're gonna see, but yeah, I mean, Micah will be right up there, no question about it.
I'm with it. I can't wait. But as far as this game is concerned, like I said, the Dolphins get the loss, but Waddle keeps flourishing right now. He's definitely prominent now. The Dolphin team all of a sudden is just like, are you gonna get in, or you know what I mean? Like you were having a monster start to the year, including there's a lot of teams that just ripped off all these wins, and all of a sudden they're in the last 2 weeks of the season. And they're like, I guess we got to take care of business now, and maybe get some help over here and this, that, and the third. I don't know, man. Dolphins, not the funnest situation to be in towards the end of the year. Now, we talked about the Bucs earlier, about winning a game last night, just in an annoying fashion. Tom Brady gets the ball, just put him in field goal range, and overtime, boom, game's over, right? But the Carolina Panthers have been playing kind of out of their minds as far as and when I say that, there's still 2 games under 500, but after the start they've had, the Panthers are right there in the mix, and they can play next week back into the mix if they beat the Bucs. A big portion of this goes to their running game right now, and this is after trading away Christian McCaffrey, which is the mind-numbing part about all this. Foreman goes for a $165 and a touchdown. This is like week after week we're talking about Donta Foreman. He's been in the top movers at least, to me, probably 3 times in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, it looks like you got an RB1/RB2 situation where it's like RB1, RB1A with Chuba Hubbard and Donta Foreman. Carolina looks like they got things going right now. That head coach, the interim guy, he will be back next year. I can't imagine they move off of him right now.
Yeah, but I said the same thing about the Raiders. I thought for sure they played hard to the end, and Pistachio was just junked and said, nah, we're good. We're going to go get McDaniels.
I understand, but Bisaccia, he's never really been in the mix for a head coach. That was more like a legacy job that he got with the Raiders in a bad situation.
Yeah.
I think that there's a real chance that this guy sticks around. The players are really lobbying for him. And look, man, when all the wheels came off, they were essentially in sell mode, and now they're
think
in
about
the playoff
that.
mix.
Think about, hey, you're the interim coach. Best of luck. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, we trade Robbie Anderson. I know he hasn't done much for you, but we traded him. He's like, we'll be fine.
It would be a similar situation to what the Texans did to Cauley last year. Like, that guy should be coaching over at Lovie Smith right now. They played good down the stretch for him, and
That's
Davis
true.
Mills had things working down the stretch, and they let him go. It made no sense to me.
But I'm just saying, the hand that this guy was dealt was ridiculous. So
And
like,
also, I'll
we
say-
traded away your receiver. Also,
Yeah.
we're going to trade away a superstar. Good luck. McCaffrey's no longer with us.
And
like,
to be fair, looking at what happened with the Raiders situation, maybe that's some pause, reason for pause there if you're Carolina and you're looking at it and it's saying, look, it really didn't work out in Vegas with the coaching staff. Josh Jacobs was not happy yesterday.
livid.
Or 2
I've
days
never
ago
seen
after
so
that
many. I
game.
heard so many F-bombs from this guy.
And he's typically, I've never even heard him speak.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
were talking about it on
that's
Thursday.
when you know.
It's like-
That's when you know it's bad. If you've never heard Josh Jacobs speak, now's the time. Go look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like-
spoke to a couple Raider fans, and it is looking like he is going to get franchise tag. So enjoy that $12 million.
Yeah, shakes. All right. There was a mover on the
$12 million. Enjoy it, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
I'm sure he will.
$12 million.
It's $12 million. There was a mover last night that was interesting. And again, the Cardinals have been in kind of disarray, right? And unfortunately, there was a big bet put on McSorley last night, and he's down 12%. Yeah, down. That was down 12%. One bet that stinks. But Greg Dortch. You can talk about him. Hopkins is a guy. Hopkins went without a catch until like the fourth quarter, which
tell
was
me.
insane. It must be a fantasy thing.
But it's lucky that I was playing Tom Brady.
10 catches,
He didn't
98
complete a
yards
pass
for
until
Greg
the
Dortch.
Overtime.
Is Dortch somebody you would be like, you know what? I mean, he's the cheapest dude on the Cardinals right now. Like, as far as like,
I
investing
just
long
can't
term.
get behind anything Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray related in terms of the Mojo market. I feel like Kyler I will probably invest in as things kind of ramp up towards him coming back.
Now
That'll be a next year thing.
They're talking about October for next year.
Okay, I'm not going to invest until late September.
I'm
then.
just saying,
You know,
like that's
how I'm gonna
rough.
play
So
that.
what do you do? What do you do now if you're the Cardinals? And I don't mean to, just get off the Greg Dortch thing, but like, what do you do if you're the Cardinals when you know that for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you might not have your starting quarterback?
They'll probably
it can't be
treat it-
Trace McSorley.
Hey, I got a guy. Maybe is Jacoby Brissett on a 1-year deal with Cleveland?
Interesting.
Hey, bring him in town. Look, somebody.
You
But
think he likes that role, being the stopgap for everybody? Look, it sucks.
yeah, 100%. Bro,
Yeah.
when you're a fringe starter in this league and you get a couple opportunities, think about this. How many guys get 3, maybe 4 opportunities to start in this league? Not many. So I think there's something to be said for that. When you understand, like, okay, I might not be the superstar quarterback, but how could I carve out a nice career for myself and make some money? And that's Jacoby Brissett, winning football games, keeping his team relevant while the true starter is out. And look, he's a teammate guy. Everybody loves Jacoby Brissett.
I do
including
too.
me.
Yeah, I like
but
it
as
too.
far as Greg Dortch goes, look, I'm personally not going to be involved in a Greg Dortch because I feel that if I'm investing in low numbers guys, I'm going after the Romeo Dobbs. I like a certain amount of players. I'll go for my guys, essentially, guys that I've, Duvernay, players that I enjoy watching. I'm not going to go in on Greg Dortch, but I will say this. People that I respect in the industry, in terms of the James Rubes of the world, these guys, they speak highly of Dortch. And they were all season prior to the season.
That said, same guy spoke highly of Eno Benjamin too, and he can't find a roster.
Honestly, fair point. You're not going to hit on all these guys, especially when you're taking flyers on the Eno Benjamins and the Greg Dortches.
Yeah.
So I will say this: he knows what he's talking about. We both can account we can attest for that. When it comes to fantasy and
Truth. Got a
parlays,
bank account to show for it.
he knows what he's talking about. So I think Greg Dortch probably is a nice investment. But this offense and with the situation surrounding the quarterback, I don't know. Right now, it looked like Trace McSorley and Greg Dortch may or may not have been practicing together for quite some time.
Sure.
With the number 2s, Trace
Threes.
McSorley,
Threes.
or the 3s, but probably.
Well, Colt was out with a concussion this week, but he is the
But
third.
I'm sure McSorley was getting some reps and was knowing, through a lot more passes to Greg Dortch than he did DeAndre Hopkins.
You know what's
We'll say
crazy?
that.
And it's not that I didn't know this because I used to coach, right? But it's not as strict when you're in high school. Depends. You have a script but the NFLPA have legitimate. This is how many plays you're allowed to run in practice.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So a guy like Trace McSorley, you say he gets reps, he might get 2. and then go home and take the shower.
The good thing about a guy like Trace McSorley,
crazy.
though, is when you're in practice and you're the third quarterback, you get a lot of work with the scout team because you have to go against the
and you might learn by
defense.
osmosis sitting on the sideline, sure, but like that,
look,
I just find that really ridiculous.
But look, I'll say this too. It's been a thing in the NFL where like post bye week you get to come in and like you're like nice and well rested and well prepared. Bye week you're not even allowed to practice anymore. So that's a myth. That's not even a thing. Trust me. When you're capping games, guys, if you're betting, bye weeks are nothing. It actually may be a detriment now to be coming off of a bye week. Because you're flat a little bit and you weren't able to
Dallas
practice.
firmly entrenched in the 5 seed will not get that first round bye. So we'll see what happens.
I think playoff bye weeks are a little bit different.
Oh, now they're different.
I'm pretty sure because when
It's
you
still
get
playoffs.
but you don't get awarded the bye week by the league. In other words, it's basically like a
like
vacation.
you're scheduled in.
Yeah, it's
yes,
like you're on vacation.
Fine. Fair point. All right. One more to go. Tonight, Monday Night Football. It's a lot for one team and not so much for another. The return of Nick Foles actually happens tonight with the Colts. So good job on his behalf. He gets to get in there. It's an interesting game because the Chargers, they kind of have to keep winning to keep pace. I understand they're probably going to wind up as a playoff team.
Yeah, they're really in a good spot
They
right
are,
now.
but
even with the loss, they're in a really good spot. But they're like 98% going to make the playoffs, it said.
I mean, you sure the loss? I would give them 6? No?
Well, if they're at 98% now.
Who the hell put them at
having
98%? That's ridiculous.
The graphic that I saw on Twitter.
I'm just saying. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm looking right now, and it looks like, all right, the Chargers are 8-6. So even with a loss, the only 7-loss team in the AFC is the Dolphins, and they just can't seem to buy a win at this point. And then the rest are 8-loss teams: the Patriots, the Jets, the Titans, the Steelers.
So like 90.
So like 98% chance to make the playoffs. But anyway, the Chargers tonight. Austin Eckler, he's a superstar.
Can they clinch tonight?
I mean, if they get a 9th win, the 7-win teams can get 9 wins.
But then
still,
we have to look at the tiebreaker.
There's a whole lot of tie-breaking situations. I don't think it's in a clinching situation right now for the Chargers, but I will say that this matchup is nice for them. The Colts defense obviously haven't been playing up to par. The Colts offense hasn't really been doing nothing. They're going to Nick Foles. Does this have a recipe for just a complete, just like complete blowout?
Yeah, I mean,
or is Foles going to go out there and light the scoreboard
It could,
up?
but it is Nick Foles, and
Little magic here.
there could be a little bit of magic. I just don't buy into anything the Colts are able to do with Jeff Saturday as the head coach. So I don't think that they really should threaten the game. But I could say this. I think there could be openings here or there on the ground for Zach Moss. Because the Chargers, he's not going to get 20 points, Dave, in fantasy. Don't worry.
I'm holding on by a thread right now. Danny, if you're listening.
I think there could be some openings there, but it's just not going to be enough to keep up with this team. We saw the Colts have probably the most embarrassing loss in the history of the league last week.
And they also gave up 33 to the Cowboys.
I mean, there
in the
could be
fourth
some
quarter.
magic in Nick Foles up his sleeve, but even with all the opportunities they've given out this year to play quarterback for that Colt team, Nick Foles hasn't made his presence felt yet. So there's got to be some reasons for that other than the fact that he's not that good. But nobody has been that good, and he still is only getting his first start now. Like, you gave Sam Ehlinger a couple.
I mean, he was inactive for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and like, what's the hell?
With no
what the heck's
injury
the point of
designation, too.
I know. So just it's more or less like, hey, we like Ehlinger. It's like, what? It is Nick Foles after all, Super Bowl champion. He's got a statue outside the link right now, which is still mind-numbing. All right, that is week number 16 in a nutshell. This week, we got a loaded week, obviously. Tomorrow, we'll go over the top movers from this game, and we get to go to the wide receiver.
Mike Williams.
Oh, Mike Williams, huh? You thinking Mike Williams was the play?
Mike Williams is the play.
All right.
For me.
Well, your primetime record is as follows. But I will
That's
say,
why I whispered it.
this week, right, it's not
Careful.
yeah, right. Tread lightly.
So short Mike Williams.
Short
is what
Mike
you're
Williams.
saying. No.
No. So obviously this week, speaking of Mike Williams, we'll talk about some free agent wide receivers tomorrow, and then we'll hit the tight ends on Wednesday, and then obviously it's more eliminated teams tomorrow. So guys, you should invest in. There's a whole lot going on in the Mojo Market, so be sure to subscribe and like the channel, and also follow us on social media. It's a big thing. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram and the Twitter machine at Mojo, M-O-J-O. Head on over there. Join the Discord. daily conversations, who you should short, who you should go long on. Share the portfolio might be absolutely ridiculous at this point because it's just like not fair. I just feel like somebody's going to be like, hey, look at my portfolio. I'm $125,000 up. And I'm just like, ooh, you like that? Well, I got 76 bucks today.
Here's the beauty of the portfolio share. You don't even have to show how much money you're spending
That's
at all.
true.
You could
just percentages,
flick it to the toggle of the percentage, and then you kind of
That's what I tend to do.
Go rogue, dog.
I could be putting pennies out there, and y'all would think I'm just a trillionaire. You know what? I am. How about that? So enjoy.
Pretty sure if you invested $1 trillion, they would have made a post about it.
That's true.
Like,
where are you at, social media team? I need you to make my post. I put in $1 trillion pennies. Even $1 trillion pennies. What was that? Math? Is that $1 million?
Don't ask me right now. It's like
it's Monday.
It's probably
Monday after Christmas, everybody. I hope you guys all enjoyed your holiday, and I hope you got everything you wanted. And of course, if you got any money in your stocking, put it in the Mojo Market. Do it responsibly. Don't be a fool, but also make some money. So for Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, A5 behind the glass, this has been another installment of the Mojo Market Report. Back here to put a bow on Week 16 tomorrow morning. See you then.